associated with the color of your skin. However, this pigment called melanin is part of your nervous system and your brain, and is basically the chemical key to life. It is called a civilizing chemical because it regulates all the rhythms in your body, when your eyebrows should grow, when you should become a man, puberty, when you should become a woman, what time your liver should be fed, what time your heart should be fed. It regulates all the rhythmicity of your system. It's a synchronizing chemical, better known as a civilizing chemical. It is how we classify races based on the pigment that they have. We're classified on the highest on the racial scale by the Europeans themselves. Everyone else has a lesser degree of melanin, and the Europeans classify themselves as having the least amount of melanin of any race. This causes them to have more ammonia in their system than black people, and more sulfur. I think it's the only time you smell it is when their hair gets wet. You're smelling the ammonia and sulfur. Sulfur makes things smell rotten. And they have more salt in their body than you do. And they have the least amount of peripheral circulation, which is circulation to your skin, than you do. The problem with ammonia is that if you put it in like a sub-degree temperature, it will boil. When you put it in a hot oven around 300 degrees Fahrenheit or so, it will freeze. It's a very tricky chemical. And that's why you walk into a room and it's very cold, and white people in it, they feel comfortable. Because the ammonia is making them feel warm. That's why you see them walking around with shorts in the snow. They have a lot of ammonia. They are biochemically different from you. But the melanin is the chemical that's high in your ears, which causes you to absorb more sound in a sound. You hear the full range of a sound. No race can do that except you. Melanin is high in your brown part of your eyes, called the iris, named after a goddess called Isis. So it causes you to absorb more color when you see a color. You're the only one can see the true color of a color. Everyone else is seeing a pale or blue, a pale or red, a pale or green. So you see the world differently, and you hear the world differently. Melanin is high in your taste buds, which causes you to taste the full flavor of the food, which sets up what we call enzymes to help you break down more nutrients in the food with less energy. We call it conversion reaction. It takes less energy for you to get energy from the food. Europeans have to have worms and parasites and other dead things in their body to help them metabolize food, but that's good for them. I just want you to keep in mind that all worms and parasites are white, so I'm not going to go into that subject either. Nonetheless, we have this melanin in our system, and it's high in your brain, which causes you to store more information in your brain. We call it ancestral memory. This is blocked by a chemical called synthetic oxytocin, given to women when they're pregnant, trying to induce labor, which causes the child to have blocked ancestral memory. Can't connect to their past too well. They don't want to hear none of that black stuff, you know. So you have this melanin in your body, and it's primarily secreted, made in your intestines. It's made in all parts of your body, like blood cells are made in all parts of your body. It's primarily secreted by a gland called the pineal gland, which is in the center of your brain, in a water-filled space called the third ventricle. And inside of this ventricle, this water-filled space in your center of your brain, is the pineal gland. It's about the size of a pea, a green pea, and it's shaped like a pine cone, thus the name pineal gland. It, of course, it spins like the planets do. It has rotations, which were originally set in motion by hearing your father and smelling your mother. It causes a lateral and horizontal quiver reaction in the pineal gland that causes the child to be bonded to you in a special way that they can't be bonded to a parent that adopts them. This is the pineal gland. Those retards. You got 12 melanin centers. They have 7. So you denying the rest of yourself by following them. They're not as smart as you are. The more melanin you are, the more intelligent you are. The more intelligence you have with smell, with touch, with vision. You have all this intelligence. You're just using one to measure your whole life. One will destroy you. You're just using one to measure. You denying all the other intelligence that you have. So when you're trying to talk to them and you show them this emotional rainbow that you have, you're too emotional. Get too emotional. What? This is emotion. You just ain't never seen it before. You look at them trying to explain that I'm just being human. You want me to get in a tweet. That's all. I don't want to go there. But I'm just saying, you're showing them all of this emotion that scares the hell out of them. Look, calm down. Wait a minute. That's because of the melanin. There's certain physical things that makes you more human. Because I can see my hand out the corner of my eyes. That's called a field of vision. The Orientals can see here. The Europeans can see here. This is their field of vision. If you walk over here, you'll walk out that field of vision. They won't see you. You walk right by them, they won't even see you. You know why they didn't see you? Because you walked out that field of vision. That white man walked by me and didn't see you. That's right. You walked out his field of vision. You see more of life than anybody. You're black. You got all these emotions, all this intelligence. It scares people. It's something you feel. It's something you sense. It's something you feel the spirit of things. That's your melanin. I don't know. I get a bad spirit from that person. That's your melanin. You have this large vocabulary of emotions and spirituality, and other people don't have it. You're assuming they're thinking because you think. They don't think like you. They process thoughts, but they don't think. You think. Thinking is a creation process. The more melanin, the more creative you are. Don't you know we've created everything on this planet? The cell phone, the laptop, the weed whacker, the clock, the bag, the mailbox. You name it, we created it. That's melanin. They copy. They don't create. We create the dance, the fashion, the hairstyle. When they put this first Egyptian exhibit, they took it to Chicago in 1832. The sisters were there doing this African.
People who have melanin have been told that everything in the body is governed by the brain, and that every reaction in every system is brain governed, and that is wrong. Melanin acts independently. It is capable of instantaneous reaction to energy fields without being processed through any of the neuron synapses and dendrite stems of the brain. In other words, it acts as a chlorophyllin carrier. It takes energy, reacts to it, and processes its own information to its nearby cells. That's why you can get, again, those beautiful moves of the Michael Jordans, those cuts and so by the football players, and those immediate reactions, because you can't stop and think. They have to train people without melanin or with little melanin to react. People with melanin react anyway, because it's like what they showed on the black Buddhas. You have eyes everywhere. You are totally conscious, and you don't wait for brain processing, which slows it down. We'll prove this to you in the classes, because you can inflict pain, and if you have your mind off somewhere, it'll take sometimes up to 15 seconds before you feel the pain. And you can even delay that longer if you're trying to offset pain by merely mind control. They don't teach you, though, with melanin, you can make that instantaneous reaction, or you can delay it up to 30 seconds, or you cannot even get to feel it at all by simply using certain ways with melanin and ingesting certain foods and herbals. Melanin is a gift from the gods. With melanin, you can speed up your healing process in half. And if you really get into a strong magnetic field, nothing to do with the electricity, which hurts you in the main, You can even cut that into a third. You can see into the body without using anode-cathode ray bombardments, if you have melanin, by using magnetic fields. One of my favorite people coming in there again, Brother Lilly. Brother William Lilly, hello there. Got to say hi to you. This is a man who has helped me a great deal when I've come in here to New York. First time he's attended one of my lectures. I'm very happy about that. Once you begin to use this kind of energy in this fashion again, per se, you can speed up everything that your body does and everything that your brain does. You can even speed up the kind of energy and frequencies that normally you're attuned to that come in to your body and into your brain. This makes you a God. What is a God? I'm not going to go into all of that because that's a long thing, but any race of people or any individual that begins to do the supernormal that everyone else is not usually able to do is looked upon as a wondrous avatar or person. People want to worship people. You shouldn't worship any person. Really. No person should be worshipped. No person should be envied. Respected, studied, watched, emulated if what they're doing is good. That's as far as it takes, because you too are gods. How do I know it? You have melanin. All the history of the gods that came from various places, advanced scientists, advanced races of all description, from lizard-looking creatures to snake-looking creatures, from little short ones to very tall ones, 30 feet tall. The bones are still on our earth to prove that they did live here at one time in physical form. All were amazed at the most advanced people in our galaxy, what they had done with a certain issue of people here by giving them melanin, the gift of the gods. That's why you're being buzzed now with all kind of UFOs. I know Bobby Hibbert talking about the mothership and so, but they got motherships of all descriptions around here, good and bad. Some you don't want to get near. Don't even want to get within 50 miles of them, if you can avoid it. And others, you want to run and embrace, and if they weren't around, you'd have been annihilated a long time ago. But we'll see about that. We're talking, break it down in our classes. Government's well aware, well aware. In fact, they've even built about 33 of them themselves, and I don't know how long, because that was last year, as they are now trying to get into photon drive and so. But your gift is that at the highest degree of the cultivation of melanin throughout the pigments of the cells, endodermal, ectodermal, bloodstream, and so, each of those glands is then able to reach its highest vibration and loose what is called the astral body. The real mothership. As I said before in one of my lectures, and I had to do this because the brother kind of introduced it on a level that is way out esoterically, and he's right. They say all but one thing I agree with him on. So I have to now kind of change what I was going to present and back into the actual melanin wars to tie in with what he has started. When the melanin in a form of high energy yield throughout the body vibrates, every cell in every organ vibrates faster. Since melanin is also in the brain vibrates faster. And the frequencies that it can reach are astounding. There are the frequencies that let you seem to be out of your body looking down on it that they all talk about. There are the frequencies that let you sense when something's going to happen to one of your loved ones before it happens, and if it's happening, almost go crazy because you know it's happening even though you're not there. It beats any switch on EATT, Northern Telecom, or Bell Atlantic. It is your instantaneous form of communication. It is a thing that messes up your cable TV when you pass by it. It is a thing that sometimes when you get excited, again, begins to interfere with your TV patterns. And it's a thing that we just don't utilize enough. Why? Because who was going to teach it? The teachers were killed when they brought us out of Mother Africa. The teachers were killed when they attempted to do it here. And even under the Masonic Guild, and the ancient ones who tried to at least serve the gods by helping the children of the gods to know who they were killed and tortured as worse as you were, because they didn't want you to know who you were. They wanted to steal the planet, imprison you, and take what the gods had left. Again, I'm talking about gods, advanced scientists from many worlds watching a special project here on this planet Tierra, Shan, Sanche, all names for this little place. Melanin, when operating well, causes the pituitary gland to release hormones that they haven't even cataloged. They can't, because they have no way to measure the hormonal things, because they're instantaneously then and they're gone. But when they're there, they give you flashes of the cosmic universe. Intuitive flashes in full color of who you have been and what you can be. The same flashes that when you depart this body and your life passes before you, that you go through again. But did they ever teach you that you don't have to die to bring that about? That cosmic wisdom of knowing everything that your ancestors knew is yours every night when you go to sleep, and between 11 and 2:30 when the melanin glands are working at its best. But you must have total darkness. That's why they give you the TVs that never go out.
What is melanin and why is it so powerful?
Melanin is a molecule. And Dr. Sabi used to always tell me, you're always talking about melanin, but what you have to really look at is carbon. Carbon is the atom. It's like cosmic glue. You have other atoms or elements, but you basically have four major on the earth: oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, and carbon. You can put no more than four together: nitrogen, hydrogen, oxygen. You can put part hydrogen, 2 parts of oxygen together, you have water. You can put 2 parts hydrogen, 2 parts oxygen together, and you have hydrogen peroxide. You can do the same thing with nitrogen, but you can't put no more than 4 atoms together to create anything. Once you introduce carbon, the black, once you introduce carbon, you create the millions and billions of molecules that exist. Carbon is the cosmic glue. It is the evidence of everything and all that exists. Because when you go outside, you look up into the heavens, what do you see? You see blackness. That's cosmic melanin. But the way in which it represents itself on the planet comes from the greenness in plants and basically the melanin that is in human beings and animals too. And so melanin is a molecule that becomes very important as it relates to life. That is why you have the carbon-14, nitrogen-14 dating, because you can tell how old something is by the life of the carbon that's within that particular thing that you're looking at, the organism that you're looking at. So that carbon is the actual stuff of the cosmic universe. And if there is life outside, it's going to be black. So don't be bringing no Europeans down here as extraterrestrials, because they don't exist. When the spacemen come from outer space, they're going to be black or brown or melanated, because that's the stuff of the universe. Stars are known as nanodiamonds. Stars started off as dark matter being pushed in by dark energy, and is being pushed in, being pressured in. And when there is no more space inside of that teeny weeny nugget of blackness, it implodes. That becomes a star. Stars are crystallized blackness. When you're looking up in the heaven, blackness isn't in the stars. Stars came out of blackness. That's why people say erroneously that there's nothing faster than the speed of light. That's not true. Faster than the speed of light is the speed of darkness, because everywhere that speed travels, darkness is there before light got there. Make sense? Because it's right here. It's right in front of us to see. When you look up there and you see the stars, those stars are crystallized blackness. Just like when you come down to Earth, diamonds are crystallized blackness. The fossil fuels and things that are in the Earth put under a lot of pressure, they crystallize into what we call diamonds. That's what humans are. That's why we are diamonds in the rough. We are forever put under pressure. This is why African Americans have to understand. And Africans of the diaspora, Africans on the continent have to understand that accept the pressure that you've been put under. Because Dr. King said that your character is shaped and created during times of controversy and conflict, not during times of comfort and convenience.